Random. Woo! Here we go. Starting fresh on the beach. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jade Monkey, and we're back here in Rust Console Edition, and I am on the Xbox Series X, but this goes for all Rust Console Edition players, and for even the Rust PC players if you're just getting started in this game. And this is how to get started as a beginner, or how to get started on any server at any point during the wipe. This is what we do. This is what I've been doing for a very long time, so yeah, let's just let's do the Phil DeFranco and say let's jump into it. Okay, so you're starting as a fresh spawn, whether it's wipe day or you've got, you know, a server that's been up for a period of time. As soon as you spawn in, just remember this, for this entire trick to work, the entire trick, don't attack anything. Players, animals, the ground, shoot anything. It's important because you're going to be using the outpost quite heavily. So just keep that in mind. We'll go over some more of those tips as we go. But first thing you want to do when you get started is look at your map. So you always will start on the beach somewhere. Now, as it stands now, yes, this seems to be one of two maps that are currently out, but this will change in the future, so just keep that in mind. What you want to do is get your bearings. What direction are you facing, and where is the outpost? Because that's where we're going to do all of this. This is how we collect our beginning scrap. This is how we protect it. This is where we create our bags, our respawns. This is how we take the heat off ourselves and still push the needle for crafting and stuff. Crafting, scrap, progression, the whole thing. Okay, so find where the outpost is. So roughly from our direction, that would be southeast. We'll have to skirt around the airfield because that's going to give us some deeps. Southeast, go ahead and look at the compass at the top. There we go, southeast, here we go. Now, right away, as I'm running here, I have the auto run on here, and I have head turn. Let me keep auto running here for a sec. Beep, and always pick up food along the way, and any cloth that you can. Okay, so use your head turn quite a bit. If you're wondering what that is, you're like, hey, how are you head turning? I'm on PlayStation or Xbox. How is that possible? I have a head turn guide that will link now in the upper right hand corner. It will help you with your sensitivity settings, or at least a good baseline, and help you with this head turning and auto run. Auto run is essential. Look, I can do inventory management like this. See that? And I can craft things. So along the way, look for these little green plants, and I can check the map too. Check that out. Woohoo, baby! All right, so here's another good tip as we're going over to the outpost itself. Well, pick up food. All right, so you have the attack helicopter out now. A lot of people are like, hey man, that attack helicopter shreds me. What do I do? Make sure you don't have more than 2 pieces of clothing on and nothing that can attack somebody in your hotbar, and you should be okay. If you switch quick enough, you should be okay. If you pull really bad aggro, it's best to stay outside of your base. Just a little tip. All right, so along the way, you could harvest these nodes here, but I typically just harvest enough cloth to make a sleeping bag. Oh, here, we got a player right here. He might actually kill me. Oh, beautiful. Okay, I expected him to. All right, cool. As you know, we're on an official server too. And again, if you see any derelict bases, take a peek. And again, as I was saying, if you get killed a lot, it's totally okay. Like, that's how Rust is in the beginning, so just keep that in mind. All right, and watch your radiation too. These, oh yeah, there you go. See, the airport's like radiation city. So if you have enough cloth, see, while I'm running, I can go over to the crafting menu. RB on the Xbox, and that would be R1 on the PlayStation. Now I'm going to use left and right trigger, which is L2, R2. And we're going to go to the sleeping bag and craft that. Okay, so the game plan here, to go back to my original thought, when we started this, is this whole thing is based off of dropping your loot bag in the outskirts of the outpost in the safe zone, and so you have a place to store your loot without anybody being able to touch it. So as long as you're in far enough, and you're good with the safe zone, you're good with the outpost or the bandit camp, you should be okay. Now again, don't attack anything. NPCs, animals, trees, bases, other players. Just think of this as passive mode for you, so you're going to run away from absolutely everything. So as you can see, I've got the auto run on, I'm looking around, I'm going to double check my map here in a sec. Okay, we're getting close. We're actually going to pass one of the places I think we're going to put down. Now along the way, if you want to make wooden tools, by all means, stone tools, wooden tools, let me go ahead and show what that looks like real quick as we're running. And just to show you what they cost, yeah, stone pickaxe is 200 wood, 100 stone, and 200 wood, 100 stone for the stone hatchet as well. They're good to use. If you can somehow get there, craft those along the way, that's fantastic. All right, so to get this whole thing started, we're going to place a sleeping bag out here on the outskirts somewhere, and then it'll become our point of entry if we do get smoked. Again, I was kind of hoping somebody would murder us along the way, but this is in the wee hours of the morning, so I don't know. The day is young. We could still get dropped. All right, so somewhere out here, I'm gonna try to drop one of these sleeping bags and call it like outpost or something like that. Usually I want to stick it around a bush or something. I hit it for a second. There we go. OP? OP? OP. Okay. Just OP for outpost. Now, so the point of that is we're going to be respawning quite a bit, and we're going to be using the safe zone as our storage, as it were. Now, on a bag of somebody's body, you can only take things out. Now, you can push things in if you swap. So that's a nice little tip there. Again, stay away from radiation zones. So that airport's got a crazy... The airfield's got a crazy radiation zone. These cemented areas in our version have a big radiation zone. Oh, look, there's a player. All right, so a lot of you are like, hey, man, every time I start the game, it's really hard for me to get started, or there's so many people just dropping everybody, it's hard to do anything. So this is why this is so good. Right here, you can see that I'm in the safety zone, right? Anything I collect, and I mean anything, as long as I'm in far enough and I force my own respawn, this loot is safe to loot by only me. Now, these bags will clear after a certain amount of time. I want to say it's 45 minutes, but to be safe, get your phone ready, and when you drop yourself here in the safe zone, this is mine, that's why I can loot it, set your watch or your timer to 30 minutes, and just know you have to keep cycling your bags, if that makes sense. Okay, so I've done this earlier, so remember when I said you could collect things or could not? I like to go to the outpost first, make my bag, and then place it, and then I start collecting things just because I don't like farming for other people. But in this case, if you want to get started with this, we're going to make shelter. I would already have the stone tools made and pick up about 5k stone and about 5k wood. Just so you know, I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Watch, so if I wanted to move this pumpkin and trade out, I don't know, let's say I wanted to wear that shirt. Oh, it's not going to let me, is it? Oh, wait, can we swap it like this? Okay. Oh, yeah, you can go from the bag and swap. There we go. I was like, this worked yesterday. All right, so when you have all of these right here, right away I would say craft yourself a hammer. Oops. Hammer. And then go right trigger, which is R2, R2 on the PlayStation. And then make yourself construction, or building plans, blueprints. Well, blueprints is confusing. We'll say building plans because that makes more sense. Okay. Now, here's how this works. I have all this stone here, so what I would do is once I have my bag in the outskirts, I would collect a lot of stuff on the edge of the outpost, like so. And if it's outside the safety zone, I can use things like stone hatchets. If it's inside the safety zone, you can harvest things with a rock. That still does work. Extremely slow, but hey, it's very, very safe. So what I would do is I would go out here, collect these things. When I feel like my inventory has a lot, I would go over to the safety zone here and then wreck myself and then come right back. Let me show you how this works. I've got another bag over here in case I got a little tight on this one. All these bags are mine, by the way. So right here, if my bag timer has been down for 3 minutes, I can then respawn. Man, my stomach looked a little weird. See, I already put one down at OP South. This one, see how we have 2 more minutes on it? So you'll notice that all of my stuff inside of my bag is protected by just me. Now, you can walk over other people's bags and it'll say loot, but you cannot get inside. Another little tip, if you're close to the edge of the safe zone, and again, you can tell in the lower right-hand corner. Let me see if I can get inside it right here. It should be like right, okay, see that's right there? If I back up a little bit. Almost. 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 Are we there yet? Oh, come on, really? If somebody were to die by those stones and I were to stand on the edge, I could loot it from here because I'm not in the safe zone, but the bag is in the safe zone. See what I mean? So if I were to die here, somebody could loot my bag because they can reach into it, if that makes sense. Imagine like an invisible fence. Anyways, that's why I like to go up by the gate and then force spawn myself. Just, it's safer that way. All right, so let's say you've been out here, you've been collecting things for a while, you're keeping track of your bags, and you're picking up and recycling them every 30 minutes or so. This is a good place to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up my carcass here. Was that crafting stuff too? I think I was. All right, see how I can just pick stuff right up? Good to go. This is from earlier. This is mine as well. And we already got the materials, yes? Okay, so right away, after you've created tools and everything else, you can start to craft your tool cupboard as well. We might as well start that now. I'll teach you a little bit about the interior of the outpost too. It's very handy. And then what I would also do is start crafting a double door, wooden, and then a single wooden door. And then also go over right trigger or R2 over to the lock, and then go ahead and craft yourself 2 wooden locks. And then this should be enough. And if we don't finish the craft time, we'll just come on and pull it out of here. Anyways. All right, so let's say you have a little bit of scrap on you from harvesting stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take that off my body to simulate looting and crafting, but also doing the collection. I don't want this to be me just farming all the way. I just want to show you how the process for getting started. I literally do this on every single server, no matter what. So the outpost, and I mean every outpost, has this exchange here. Components for sale, but also this. Take a look at this. Now, one of the very first things you need, to kind of back up here a little bit, are metal fragments. Metal fragments have to be smelted. In order for that to happen, you need yourself a furnace. And go ahead and look at the requirements here where I take a swig of the tactical cylinder. Stone, wood, and low grade. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can farm red barrels to get the low grade. You can take the crude oil and smelt it back here to get even more low grade, like this guy's doing. Hi! Or you can go over to this side and buy some for dirt cheap. This, oh, I'm sorry, it's this one. The very bottom, 5 scrap for 25. That's brilliant. So you need 50 low grade to make that happen. That's just so you can smelt and make or cook yourself some fragments, metal fragments. But what I like to do in the very beginning is get about 50 scrap, which we have. My inventory right here. Go to shopping, but check this out. On line 3, I can buy 250 metal fragments already cooked. That is a steal. That means cold locks and metal doors. So we're going to buy 2 of those now. Bam, we've got some. Look at 500. Do I say how much? 450? Did I say 400 before? I can't count. All right, so now we have 500 metal fragments. So we're going to start this as if you just have stone and wood, but then we'll take it into the next level and show you what sheet metal does. Now, as we're walking to our location to kind of scout what we want to do, I like to, before I sign out of anything, make sure I've got stone walls and make sure I have at least 1 sheet metal door that blocks people from getting in. It stops the grub raids, the yokas, that would be handmade shells, and that would be flame raids. It looks a little bright. Let me go ahead and turn this down. You guys having this thing too? I get this a lot. I'm going to turn it down to like 5. That sounds good. Okay. Hopefully that looks better for you guys. All right, so what I like to do, again, with that safety zone, it's also a no-build zone. So again, with all of your materials in hand, make sure you have a tool cupboard, 2 wooden locks, 1 double door, 1 wooden double door, excuse me, 1 single wooden door. I'm going to go ahead and pick them up here because I may not be done with the crafting by then. Just, I don't want to have to wait. And only take what you're going to build initially, and I'll do these in small bites as if you're under attack, because this has happened to me plenty of times. And again, I'm doing this with the initial thought that you only have wood and stone to get started. Did I grab the rest of the wood? See, I already brought metal fragments with me. Jade! Oops, I forgot I can't put them back. What did I just say? I know! Oh yeah, by the way, when you get all that food, yeah, look at that. You just move it over, munch on some food, you're good to go. And my body, literally, before we started this, I wrecked that body right there. So I'm operating out of my dead man's inventory. My dead man inventory. Okay, what I like to do before I get out there is get the things in my hotbar that I'm going to need. I didn't make a double door or a single door the first time, did I? I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. It just looks different. My bad. I'm not used to the way that skin looks. All right, so what I like to do is immediately put things in my hotbar, like my blueprints and my hammer. Now, remember, if you get shot by somebody, you want to make sure that you do not fire back. We're going to get this, the double wooden door. Oopsie. And what else, what else, what else? I feel like I'm missing something. That might be it. All right, well, and some food in case we get shot. Now, again, I don't know if I said this on the way here. This is very important. If you do get shot by the outpost, like if you've killed somebody and the outpost kills you, in this version, it does not keep track of that timer for you. You have to keep track of it. So here's how this works. If you attack somebody, you go to the outpost and it kills you, you're hostile to the outpost for 30 minutes. Stay away from the outpost for 30 minutes. If it shoots you again, the timer starts over. The timer is 30 real minutes. Set your watch, set your phone, whatever it is, set it. If you get shot again, restart it. The problem with that is if you keep triggering it too often, you won't be able to come back and pick this up. So remember, you're in passive mode, as it were, but nobody else is, so you cannot attack anything. That's why I don't have any weapons on me. I just want to make that clear before we push in. So it's very, very important that you do that, or else you're in trouble. You can lose all your gear, because that bag will despawn, and nobody else can pick it up. Okay, so if you're looking right here, if we kind of look at the picture here, I think we've got some blank land right here. And obviously, there's a no build zone around the airfield. There's one around the satellite. There's one around here. So we've got a pinch of land here that we can put down. It's important that we build in such a way that we have room and we don't build ourselves into this safe zone, because then you're building blocked and you can't do anything about it. So what I like to do before I cross... Oops, I'm almost out of there now. What I like to do is immediately get... If I hold left trigger, and that would be L2 for the PlayStation, I'm going to get a triangle foundation ready as I'm moving. I think there's a little spot up here. At least I hope there is. And again, this isn't going to be your main base. This is just to operate out of, to put loot, to smelt things if you need to. Because the worst thing in the world is to get a bunch of good loot and not have a place you can stick it. All right, this one should be pretty good. I want to make sure it's high enough off the ground. And now I'm going to switch immediately to the hammer. We're using my directional pad. I'm looking around so I don't get capped. Now, when the hammer is in your hand, you're going to hold left trigger or L2 and then select stone. Now I'm going to go over to the blueprints, hit left on the D-pad, the directional pad. Then I'm going to hold left trigger or L2, and now I'm going to select a wall. So with the X facing me, I'm going to place this by hitting right trigger or R2. Same with this. As long as the X's are facing you, that soft side, I'm going to switch to the hammer. Now I'm going to hold left trigger or L2. Now I'm going to select stone, and this is if you can afford it. Then what I like to do before I place the tool cupboard, again, watch yourself. If somebody attacks you, run away. Make sure scientists don't attack you. Go back to your blueprints. Hold left trigger or L2. Now select the triangle ceiling or floor tile. Make sure that's blue. Switch to your hammer. Hold left trigger or L2. Make that stone. If you can, make these stone whenever you can. Now I'm going to switch to that tool cupboard I have in my inventory again. With the knobs facing you, I'm going to stand right in the slip and then look back towards the corner and kind of move it towards me till it turns blue and push it back. Now I'm going to hit right trigger or R2. Authorize. That's what I forgot. I forgot to put this in my inventory. Make sure the wood lock is out and hold or tab right trigger or R2, and you see how it's locked, and now I'm authorized in the upper right hand corner. Boom. Okay, so by no means is this a building tutorial. This kind of shows you how I get started, but if you like more in-depth if you like more in-depth building plans or at least a tutorial, I've got that already. I will link that now in the upper right hand corner. It's going to help you get started anywhere, whether you're on PC or PlayStation or Xbox. Okay, so the next important thing is to go to your building plans. Or I should say, if you do get clapped here, it's not the end of the world. You did put a lock on your tool cupboard, and somebody has to yoka this or flame it down. So you've got some protection. It's not a lot, but it's a little. If you need to, you can dump some of your supplies into the tool cupboard immediately, right? I can move like half my metal fragments. So if I get clapped, they don't get everything. It depends on how hot the area is. Now, I'm going to switch to my building plans again. Hold L2 or left trigger. Go to the wall frame. I'm going to walk up to this. I'm going to tap right trigger or R2. I'm going to go to the hammer, hold L2 or left trigger. Make that stone. Now I'm going to place this wooden double door like so, and I'm going to look to the right so it swings out. I'm going to put a wood lock on the door right there. Make sure it's red. Never make it green. Now, I'm going to back up here so you can kind of see how safe you can be with this. With that there, I can now start to put things inside of there that are raw materials. I don't have a good setup as far as a base, but that'll get you started. So if things start to go south, you can run back here and kind of like, you know, say, hey, you can't get me. Or if somebody shoots at you, the outpost will shoot them for you. So, yeah, it's important. All right, so now we are going to select the wooden foundation using the building plans. Tactical cylinder. Yes, at any time, if you do find this useful and helpful, be sure to drop a like on the video. It really does help out. And if this is something you would watch in the future, consider dropping a subscribe and turning on those notifications. It's the little bell. And make sure it looks like it's ringing. Okay, with that first square foundation connected to the front, again, we're going to stand on this, hold L2 or left trigger, and select this stone. Now we're going to go back to the building plans, select the wall, do this, And then I'm going to hold left trigger L2 again. I'm going to select the doorway. Again, X facing me. Switch to the hammer. L2 left trigger. Stone. Stone. And now, if you can't afford these, make them wood for now. Just know that you need to upgrade this pocket in here and your outside TC area with stone as quickly as possible, because that's what you need to protect. Again, that building guide will help you out a lot. Make sure all of these are hard side out. If they aren't, now is the time to switch it, because after the cementing phase, you gotta raid your own base. You want soft side in, hard side out. Now, immediately before the roof goes on, I'm gonna go to that wooden door. I'm gonna have it open outside, so I'm gonna look to the left, so that swings outward. I'm gonna switch to, I guess we don't have another wooden lock, so we'll put one of these down. Put one of these code locks down, and we're gonna type in a code. Boop. Now, you're relatively safe. Somebody could people stack on top and get inside, but for the most part, you can breathe for a second. Now you can switch to this floor tile and then place it on the top. Now switch to the hammer, L2, left trigger, make that stone if you can. And now you can open this tool cupboard, or open the door to your tool cupboard with relative safety. Now, you don't have an airlock yet, so that's really what you need next, but you can do things like place a sleeping bag in here. Oopsie, I like to place it by the doorway. Oh, that's delicious. I like to put it like right about there and just call that, I don't know, OP base. That'll work. Again, it's got about a 3-5 minute timer until you can use it. Now, this base will be safer when we've got an airlock, and that's what we're going to do next. But real quick on these door locks here, just know, and again, that building guide will help you. You can always check the cards and stuff for those. This is good for a team. If you're solo, all you need to worry about are the wooden locks. Just know that if you place the wooden lock, you are the owner and you do not need a key. Do not make a key for your teammates. It's nothing but a security risk. If you're a team and you can only afford wooden locks, designate one person to be the door opener and communicate until you can afford these. Remember, you can go to the outpost and you can buy these metal fragments for 250 a pop. I'm sorry, 250 metal fragments for 25 scrap. It's a steal. 1 scrap per 10. And that's another reason why we're at the outpost. All right. Now, next part of this is to make sure that we've got an airlock. So if somebody's waiting outside, they can't just clap you with your door wide open. You need you need airlocks before you can place things in here safely, or else it's a risk every time you open your door. So what we're going to do is create what I call a single pass airlock. So again, with the building plans in your hand and enough materials on you, which I may or may not have, I'm going to hold L2 left trigger, select the triangle foundation. Then I'm going to attach it here. Make this stone if I can. Now we're going to make 2 doorways. I'm going to hold left trigger. Oops, I'm going to select doorway. Place these soft side in, switch to the hammer, hold L2 left trigger. Make these stone if I can. Now what I like to do immediately is place doors down. Now I think that's on my body, so this is a good time for us to go get it. You notice that like I try to do it as cheaply as possible first, and then I add the more expensive things. Usually, because I'm broke to begin with, who isn't, I make all of those wooden doors and wooden locks and then slowly upgrade them as I go. Sometimes I save the wooden doors, sometimes I recycle them for the wood, it just depends on where you're at. And again, if I were to get clapped right now, I might lose some wood, but I've got the base, I've got my sleeping bag, and I have one on the outskirts. So I've got a place to respawn and get my stuff, and whatever's here in these bags is still safe. Yes, very good. If you are a larger team and you're at this point, and again, you can do this with a team or by yourself, definitely. I do have a 2x3 base, and I will link that now in the upper right-hand corner. This is good for solos, duos, or trios. Right there, 2x3. It's an excellent base. It's good. It's worked quite well for us. All right, so I've got 2 sheet metal doors already. I'm gonna put this on. Hopefully the helicopter's gone, or I'm in trouble. I'll put this on. I guess I'll throw this outside. Remember, you can always grind these up if you're really hard up for stone and such. And you can harvest things around the outpost, barrels and whatnot, with a stone, or with your rock. Well, it is stone. So like those blue barrels, even though it's in the safe zone, you can still grab them up. So, and get the red barrels, man. That's free low grade, and you need at least 50 to get going. So, it's your best friend, I promise. So now we just picked everything up from our little spot over there. Before we step out, I'm going to place this down and this other metal door. Now this is assuming that you have enough metal. You can very easily do this with wood. And what this airlock is going to do for us is create protection against people waiting outside, and it creates a single pass-through. So if somehow one door is open, you have to open the other, you have to close the other one before you open it to be able to walk through. Man, that's a mouthful. So what that does is it creates protection, but it keeps people from leaving stuff open, or if they did, it protects your loot all around. So what I'm going to do is stand in this triangle. Hopefully nobody caps me. I'm assuming you have enough to upgrade to code locks if you need them. See how I'm looking left, it's opening out. If I look to the right, it's opening in. I'm going to hit right trigger, or R2. Now I'm going to go over to the code lock, place it. I'm going to put a code in. Just don't make 11 or 69, right? It's all bad. And if you do have a team, make sure everybody can type those locks in. So make sure you didn't type it in by accident. Sometimes a server hiccup can do it. All right, so you got that other one? So, or this one here. Now let's place this one. Make sure it's going in. So I'm looking to the right. Right trigger, or R2. Going to the code lock. Placing it with right trigger, or R2. Code lock, which is Y on the Xbox, but that's triangle on the PlayStation. Boom. So again, same with the wooden locks. Make sure these are always red, no matter what. Because if it's green, anybody can retype a code or take it right off the hinge. Yeah! Alright, now you can see how this works. Even if somebody were to leave these open and leave like that, nobody can get through. It is paramount. When you have an airlock, you'll feel a bit safer. And again, with the wooden doors, they are susceptible to yoka raids and flame raids. So I liked, before I sign out, anything that is behind wood, expect it to be gone or potential to be gone when you sign in next. Now, this base isn't invincible, but it definitely gives you more protection than wood. So sheet metal in the front doors, and, well, we would replace this with sheet metal as well, but it gives you a lot more protection. If you have 2 sheet metal doors before they get inside your loot, that's what, 8 satchels before they can get in? So most people aren't going to mess with that in the beginning, unless you really tick somebody off. Okay, now that we have the triangle out, I'm going to place that here, switch to the hammer, hold L2, left trigger, make that stone if you can afford it. And do we have another metal door here? No, it's okay. So right there, that's got good protection for you as you get started. Now, if you can afford it, make yourself a box. Try to place it a little bit off this door here. And now you have a place to farm and dump your loot, materials and everything else. So see how I have it like back against the wall here? I usually tell people not to mess around with code locks. I mean, they're cute in certain scenarios, but for the most part, it doesn't really stop anybody. So I usually say leave them off, but always, always, always code lock your TC. All right, so everything else is not going to fit in the tool cupboard. And again, if you're wondering what a tool cupboard does, that build video will help you out a lot. Just put the rest of this in there. So now you can see, for outside, we can get clapped all day long. And we're good to go. This gives you a nice foothold on any server, no matter what time of the wipe it is. It gives you a bit of protection, so if you do decide to build somewhere else, that's okay. You've got a nice spawn shack to go into. Or if you're pushing across the map, and this is the closest base where you need to like hide because someone's chasing you, like you came out of the airfield, and you just got a hackable crate, and you need to dump it in here, that's what this is good for. Or if you want to build a bigger base that's in close proximity to this, let's say you wanted to build this, this is a good starter base to get you going, and then build here. Either way, this is a multi-purpose, multifunctional, isn't that the same thing, multi-purpose, multifunctional? Yeah, I guess it is the same. Starter for you, and this will get you on any server at any time, no matter what. High pop, low pop, crazy pop, you're down. It's all about you. You got this. So again, if you found this useful and helpful, be sure to drop a like and drop a subscribe if you haven't already. It's much appreciated, especially if you think it's something you would watch. And let me know how it went for you on your very first days in Rust. All right, we'll see you guys in the next live stream / video. Bye! See, look, I can respawn anywhere. Respawn! That's the one we placed on Outpost. Look at that. Just go pick our stuff up. Oh, that was my